A very good evening, folks. Welcome to the chat tonight. Welcome to the podcast. I hope everyone is doing good. Before I kick off the podcast, let me know how the sound is because I'm back using my microphone. So everything should be crystal clear regards to audio. Let me know in the comments before we start chatting properly on the podcast tonight. I said I'll pop on for about 40 minutes to you, have a chat with you just in regards to this bullshit of a transfer window and see how you are all getting on as well. Just fix this camera up a little bit as well. It's a bit too high. It makes me look like a bleeding leprechaun. So let me know what the sound is like. There's no squeaky chairs tonight. We're 16 days in, folks, and I'll be honest with you, it's not looking good so far for Celtic getting the striker in. I don't know if you have watched the press conference with Martin O'Neill today, and we keep saying they're trying tirelessly in the background to get players in, but it's a joke. Really is a joke. And I know obviously Martin O'Neill came in just when Nancy got the boot and stuff like that, so that would have been on the back burner identifying players, but it's just been an absolute shit mess. Let us know in the comments, please, if the sound is okay, because if the sound isn't okay, I'm going to have to switch audio to the my webcam, which picks up perfect the most podcast anyway. We're going to talk about a couple of players that we're linked with. Is there a possible exit for Balikwisha? Even though we signed him in the summer, could we send him on loan back to Belgium? Because will he play the weekend on Sunday in the Scottish Cup? And you have to think about Martin O'Neill's last game as Celtic manager back in 2005 was the Scottish Cup final against Dundee United. So he wants to win this trophy. It's going to be a hard trophy to win, but it's also a case if the likes of Rangers or Hearts get kicked out early, they will use it as an advantage to, pushing the league as well, which could go against us. So, look, a lot of football to be played over the next couple of weeks. Dreading Bologna. If I had my way, I wouldn't even field a full side against Bologna because we need to be ready for Tynecastle Sunday week. And at this moment in time, it doesn't look like we're going to get a striker in by Sunday week. We'll be expecting bleed miracles at this rate, really expecting miracles. So hope the sound's okay. Hello, Chris. I hope you're doing good. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know there's a couple of other podcasts on the same time. Sound is okay. I don't really care. Once I'm doing my job, talking my piece, that's the most important thing. We're linked with Leeds United's forward, Joel Pator, 26-year-old. He hasn't scored this season. That's the only thing. 12 games in. He hasn't been playing a lot of football as well because just better. They have what's his name? Calvin Lewin. That's playing. They used to play for Chelsea, or not Chelsea, Everton. He's basically leading the light for Leeds. So this guy can't even get a sniff in the team. He's at the start of the year. He was getting a bit. Start of the season, he was getting a bit of time, but it looks like Celtic are interested in signing him on a loan basis. He's on 50 grand a week. It's a lot of money for a player, but we have the money in the bank. The league we need to win the league. We got to take big risks. If you want to win this title, you have to make big risks. You can't be just expecting fucking bargain basement deals last minute, because what if these deals collapse? They collapse or someone hijacks the deal. And there's a good chance that could happen, especially when you have English teams sniffing around certain targets that we've been looking at. We've seen what happened today with that Israeli, or not the guy that played in Israel that signed for Sunderland, Josen Taboy. He went to Sunderland for 3.5 million. Celtic wanted him for 2.5 million. A lot of fans didn't want him in because of the whole politics side of it. But look, we need to focus on getting players in the door, a centre-back, a defensive midfielder, and a striker. We really need to strengthen them positions big time. I'm just going to mute the mic for a second. Now, reports from Stephen McGowan, he's put up an article saying that Celtic are interested in centre back Aurelien Amende, who is a Swiss international who's trying to get into the Swiss team for the World Cup. Now, he looks like a decent player. He's not getting enough game time at the moment at Eintracht Frankfurt. 22 years of age. He's played so far 25 games for Eintracht Frankfurt. He's came through young boys as well. And this is a guy that was signed for over 10 million quid as well. So 12 games so far in the Bundesliga this year. We do need a centre back. Let's be honest. We definitely need a centre back. I know Welch has been recalled from Motherwell, and he had a pretty decent spell at Motherwell for the first half of the season. I think Stephen Welch, he's not at the Celtic caliber. He's not at the Celtic level. He'd be better off playing for a club like Motherwell or a club lower, because we've seen he's had so many chances. Stephen Welch at Celtic. Don't get me wrong, he was fantastic in his first proper breakthrough season, even though it wasn't a good campaign for Celtic. The 20 to 21 season, thought he played solid some when he came in, but really need to get a centre back in. And there's a talk of a loan move for this guy. Don't know enough about him, to be honest. I haven't done enough research on him. It was just like a last minute grasp when I seen this story breaking that we're looking at a centre back. But I think a lot of fans are getting more frustrated that we're linked with strikers like Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson's not going to come to Celtic. A lot of fans didn't want Callum Wilson because he had his injury prone record. But I think looking at his goal to games for Newcastle was not bad. He scored almost 50 goals in 128 games for them. And then West Ham he's played, which is 18 games, and he scored 4 goals. But there's been interest with him from Saudi Arabia, other English teams. We've been linked with the Chelsea striker, David Fofana. Don't think that's going to happen. He's over in Turkey at the moment. Potentially, he actually turned down Celtic and transfer deadline day last summer. I just think it's an absolute shit show. And the board, I've done this on the video earlier on before I came on the live. The board are not taking this league serious. They're not backing Martin. Like, I don't really mind if we get players in on loan until the end of the season. I'd rather faces in the door and fresh faces than having no faces in the door. And it will probably come down to the last day of the transfer window where we get 2 or 3 players in. And then we could have used them for crucial games, away to Hearts, even the Europa League game, Bologna. But it's not a good look. It isn't a good look. It's just like from one mess to another mess. It's like, can we feel a bit steady about Celtic, for like about the team at all this season? And I'm gonna say something controversial on the channel. I was saying this to someone on my job earlier on. I was basically just saying that I think we should offload Callum McGregor at the end of the season. I think we should listen to offers for Callum McGregor, a phenomenal servant. But yes, he's passionate. He's been a great captain, but his legs are done. His legs are done. He is not the box midfielder he once was. And when it comes down to the summer, I think we should offload him. But the only concern about getting rid of Callum McGregor is who will be the next captain of Celtic. There's not enough figures in that dressing room to call the next captain, bar Alistair Johnston. CCV, he's fucking done. CCV is done. I don't think we'll ever see Jota back in the Celtic shirt at this rate, to be honest with you, as well. I see Rangers signed that boy we have been chasing. Look, we've been chasing for a load of players, but obviously it seems like Celtic Football Club is a hard sell to these players. It just seems like, is it wages? Are we negotiating right with agents? What's going on? What is going on? We're claiming that we're interested in these players, but there's nothing happening. There is nothing happening. And we've seen it with the type of mess the board can act. the way they act coming into transfers. We've seen it with Taneki. We offer 2 million and then we end up getting them for 5. Like, stop going in with fucking butter vouchers into a restaurant and expecting results. Yes, we can blame the English Premier League for having more wages and being more attractive and lucrative going to the clubs like that, but you have a chance to come here and win. Most footballers want to win medals, want to have titles on their CV, then go to a fucking, no disrespect, Bournemouth are a really good team this season. Who wants to fucking go to a club that has a 10,000 seater stadium? Yeah, you may be playing with some quality players and playing week in, week out against some quality players, but you can go to a club like Celtic where you will feel adored by the fans. You have that one big moment, a last minute winner. You'll be remembered for a long time, you know. But I think what the problem is when modern day football fans, a lot of them are getting very impatient with players. You don't give them enough time on the ball. When they make a mistake or jumping up or screaming at the telly, and I will put my hand up and admit that sometimes I'm like that. I get frustrated watching games where there's a misread pass, and I'm saying to myself, "Hold on a minute. We're human beings. We make mistakes. We don't all walk a line properly. We all make mistakes, and sometimes these players are just getting, scrutinized too much." I just feel deep down inside we don't have the quality in the squad to win this league. We may have the coaching personnel there to push the players, but it's the quality on the pitch you need. It's the quality on the pitch. It's the drive. It's the hunger. It's determination. It's it's the wanting it more. Because let's be honest, Hearts look like they're not backing down. They've went down to 10 men the last 2 games, folks, and they're looking pretty decent. And I'm really, really not looking forward to Tynecastle next week. That's it. You can't flog a dead house, 100%. But you gotta build, like, as much as we all believe and as much as we all felt good last Saturday when we beat Dundee United, and there was goals there from 4 different goal scorers. It felt good that we could see we had a clean sheet. We're getting clean sheets again. Scales talked about. We are, as someone said to you on the podcast, I don't know, I can't pinpoint who exactly said it. Someone said we are 1 defeat away from a disaster. And I say that's very premature because football teams do lose games, but this season has been really, really hard to digest, to watch, to get motivated for it, to have that confidence where you think Taneki's going to take it on his other foot and bang it in. Like, we're not taking enough chances outside the box. We're trying to drag the ball into the back of the net at times. And that's not the way you play football. You look at the players that we've had over the years. Look at Chris Commons. Chris Commons was a prime example. Chris Commons loved the shot from outside the box. Joe Leddy loved the shot from outside the box. Stefan Johansson liked the shot from outside the box. Wanyama, Stuart Armstrong. It's just the way football has gone. Like, it's like they're coached into this way of, oh, let's get into the final third, let's get it into the box, and let's get a goal from there. Test the keeper. I'm sick of this bullshit where we all say, oh, well, they're after having 10 men behind the ball in their own box. You're going to get a little bit of space. Use it. So let's see what North South says. Hello to North South up in Norway, by the way. Is it Bergen in Norway? I was watching another podcast and someone gave you a shout out. So I hope you're doing good. As I mentioned, your fellow countryman, Stefan Johansson, it was his birthday this week. What a player he was. It's depressing. So it is. Only Celtic Football Club can struggle to identify and sign players. It's lazy. It's utter laziness. That's what it is. They just don't want to go out, and I think that I blame the scouting, I blame the board, I blame the direction we're going. And I truly believe this will get worse. And I don't want it to get worse. On the hand on the heart, we all don't want it to get worse, but we don't lose if we lose this league, as I said this earlier on one of my videos, folks, a part of me will be upset losing the league, but a part of me will be like, well, it needed to happen. And I know that sounds a bit eyebrows raising when I say that to you, but what I mean by that is it wakes up the rest of the fans. It wakes up the rest of this 20% that cannot accept that we're moaning at the board every week, because change needs to be implemented. You know, when you take things for granted and expect to dominate Scottish football and not willing to invest higher into your squad, you're going to get punished. And players, and I really, really don't like saying this. It hurts me saying this, but I think players are either bored of lost hunger. Some players have lost hunger, and that's great. Jack, you're right. We're screwed without the Champions League money. And this time next year, from that 80 million kitty, it could be down to potentially 30 million. And looking at this current squad, do you say to yourself, who's a fucking 25 million player in that squad? There's no one really there, to be honest with you. If Alistair Johnston was playing, you could slap 20 million on him. There's no one really there. Like, I think we had a chance to cash in on Maeda a while ago. And we're all grateful he stayed and scored some vital goals. But, the more you look at Days and Maeda's body language, the more you feel frustrated. And there's a part of there is I feel very sympathetic towards Days and Maeda, because his missus had a child. She was over in Japan. He was over doing international breaks with Japan. He's a phenomenal father, as everyone knows. You see him with his kids all the time. You really don't know what's going on in the background. Is it a case that he sailed his course with Celtic? He's been here 5 years. Does he want a new challenge? In the summer, he wanted to move away from Celtic. Itate's the same. He's a culprit where he runs around like a lost soul. He strings 2 or 3 decent passes in every 4 games. Like, it's just hard watching this. And we're looking at the bar, and I'm looking at the bar, and I'm saying to myself, is Nicholson actually going to prove his worth ever? Ever? Is Wilson ever going to prove his worth? Is McCoy ever prove his worth? I've seen that there was a story today that according to Martin O'Neill has had talks with Nicholson and McCoy about possible transfers. Like, we can all ring up and inquire. We can all ring up a curry shop and ask him what's on the menu and what's for sale. But it's actually fucking buying it, which is the most important thing. And I really believe that the board are literally shooting us in the foot to fail this season. They've done it time and time again. And as I said, losing the league will be back. It will hurt temporarily if we do lose it. But overall, I think a lot of us will feel relieved and realize, you know what, that is the nail in the coffin. That will show that board really threw us under the bus this season. Even before the season started, pre-season, the mess. Why did he hire Tisdale? Tisdale never had a high-profile job. Exeter City called himself the doctor of football. Like, I'm not even going to mention the other guy that we appointed this season. I'm not going to mention him, but when I look back to 2009 and 2010 when we appointed Tony Mowbray, yes, fair enough, Tony played for the club. He knew what Celtic was about. He was a Celtic man. People criticised Mowbray, saying it was really bad and that stuff, but at least we had players that had a bit of fight. I believe Martin O'Neill is trying to get a reaction of his players, but the quality level, it's just the players are just not. Some of the players are not equipped. Some of them are just not good enough to wear the shirt. And that's simple as it is. Falkirk was a difficult game. We got the 3 points. We got out there lucky. It was a very fucking jammy result You want to put the terms on that? Not enough. Not enough press. Not enough chances on target. You know, I go back to that game, and I know a lot of people haven't even discussed this because we're Celtic fans and we don't. Some of us don't like being honest with ourselves. Some of us like keeping our green tints on. But if VAR actually looked at that goal, Maeda actually had a bit of contact with Bain. There was a bit of contact with Bain there. You know, a bit of interference with the keeper. You know, if you're shadowing the keeper and you put some sort of contact, that's a free kick. So I think we were fucking lucky to get out of jail against Falkirk. In all means respect. Falkirk were a better team on the night. Like, and Martin O'Neill's right to call out his players. I don't know if any's seen what Stephen Robinson done the other night at Tynecastle. Called out his players, saying they made a show of him. They made him look like an arse. And he's right. Sometimes you gotta throw it. And I know people are saying, oh, well, if you throw your players under the bus, you're gonna lose the dressing room. Sometimes you need the hairdryer treatment. Look at one of the best managers of all time, Alex Ferguson. He had no bother calling out his players. You know, you got to give them a bit of fire. You need that confrontation with them. You need to sit down and tell them, right, you're playing for this fucking club. You're earning this amount of money. If you want to be successful and have Celtic Football Club on your CV with trophies, you got to fucking earn it and fight your way into that team. You know, it's not just a simple job of I go out and play out 2 or 3 times a week, or I play once a weekend and I get my pay slip. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, and we all know that. We all know that as fans. You know, it's not easy. I'm sure it's not easy being a professional footballer in any shape or form. Dealing with online abuse, dealing with shit going down the road, you have to restrict your life in a certain preference as well. But this is what you sign up for. And I'm sick of this PR stunt when we sign a player, they all saying the same script. Jerry McCulloch is feeding the words to them. It's a load of nonsense. A load of nonsense. And it's coming to the stage where, yes, I follow Celtic on the socials, but I can't even watch the press conferences the way I used to. I'm sure a lot of you are the same. A lot of you are. Look, I do apologize. I ramble on and then I click in your comments. You know, that's class, Paddy. Probably a 40-minute drive for me. Rangers don't have money, but they're bringing players in because they're chasing the title. Regardless, Sefco don't have money. Sefco do have money. It's just the 49ers are very skeptic about giving them funds. They do have money there, but like they don't have the money that Celtic have, you know. And as I said, every day goes by, every game comes closer to the end of the season. The more realization that, and I've been feeling this since the last. And there has been games where like last week I felt like we're title races back on. But the more I look at the logistics side of the operations, the so-called operations at Celtic Football Club, the more I'm saying to myself, I'm not buying this. We're not buying this title. We're not going to get this. We're not going to get this title. Like, all means we could get 1 or 2 players in. It's great results, all 1-0ers, 2-1 games, beat Hearts twice, beat Rangers twice, hope on them to drop points as well, and we win the league by a point or 2 points, or even down to goal difference. It could be that, but the realization is, I think a lot of us, and it's not like I'm turning me back on the club in no shape or form. I'm very passionate how I speak about this football club. Like, you all are passionate. It's a fucking state. It's an absolute, it's a mockery. It is a mockery. And from the outside world, we're self-entitled fans. We've won trebles. We've won this over the last 10 years. But when you build that point, you have to go past that point. Look at retaining that dominance. You've seen it in the rest of the clubs in the rest of the world. Very hard to stay at that point, that peak. You know, there's only one way down. And when you sell your best players like Kuhn, O'Reilly, Kyogo and you don't replace them with a 5 million or a 6 million player, you are going to feel frustrated. You are going to feel like, well, let's just hope on the players that are there. Let's just get behind the players that are there. And that's the right thing to do. But the real truth is you wanted that player to be replaced. You wanted that player to be replaced. So when Kyogo was gone for 10 million, who did we replace Kyogo with? No one. Because we had Adamida in the door. And he was trying to replace himself. Let's be honest, Adamida was trying to replace himself after his loan move. He was trying to live up to heights. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And it will either feel relief or it will either feel, you know what, this was coming at the end of the season. You know, and I'm not going to go into hibernation if we fail this season, because this is the whole point of the podcast. This is how I made me subscribers. This is how I made me viewers. This is how I got the engagement with a lot of you. When the difficult times were there in 2020, when the Ross County defeat in the League Cup and losing the title, getting swept by Rangers for the title, did I go hiding? No. I called out it. I called the board out. I called Neil Lennon out. And what I will say is, look at my thoughts and prayers are with Neil Lennon. I know he lost his dad a couple of weeks back, and my condolences go out to the Lennon family. I know his mum passed away as well, a couple of years back as well, I think. But when a journalist turned around and says to you, shame on you, the BBC journalist, turned around and asked Neil Lennon, does he miss his dad? Does he miss his dad? What a pathetic question to ask a man who's grieving about the man who raised him up and made him, helped him become a man. The man that guided him through his football career. The man that said, right, son, go to Crewe, go to Man City, go to Leicester, go to Celtic, go to Nottingham Forest, go to Wycombe Wanderers, go back to Celtic. I was appalled by it. I was actually appalled by that stupid questions from them. You need, honestly, I'll see, can I pull up? I'll see, can you can hear the audio of it. I'll see, can I pull it up now? It is shocking. Absolutely shocking. BBC Scotland. Right. I know this is going to sound a bit loud into the microphone, so do bear with me. I'm not trying to burn your ears in any shape or form. What the hell? What the hell? All the rap songs kicking in. Hold on. That was a mess. Right. Hold on. Sorry about that. What was going on there?
Been someone who's been pretty emotional about football and about life in general. Sadly, you lost your father just before Christmas. How big an impact did he play in your development as a person?
Well, it's huge. I mean, he was my father. He was my best friend. He was the biggest influence on my life. We had an unbelievable relationship. Considering I'd left home at 16, when you think about it now, it doesn't happen very often. But he was never a phone call away, and he enjoyed all the highs and supported all the lows. So, I couldn't have asked for a better guy to have in my corner.
You still miss him though?
Oh, every day.
Yeah.
Every day, yeah. Very much so. So it's still raw, but every day.
And it's like he kind of smirked when he said it. You still miss him. You still miss him. He should. That is an absolute disgrace. He should be sacked for that. I know from the outside of the world, people are like, "Oh, he's only asking the question." The man is fucking grieving. He's grieving. The rap music. I don't know what happened there with the music. I don't know. I think because I went on Instagram Reels and it was coming up loud of nonsense. So yeah, it was Return of the Mac. It was. I wish Air Mac return. McGregor return to banging goals in. Just shocking, absolutely shocking. But look, we have a cup game the weekend. We're playing against a junior team from Ayrshire. It's in Rugby Park. It's a 5:30 kickoff. I'm gonna put on my starting lineup on the team. I'm just gonna go through the starting lineup who I think should start for the game. Jesus, I think I'll be getting one of them myself in the next couple of months if Celtic don't win this title. An ambulance. I was just thinking that this board are like that's what they are. They don't listen. They don't listen. And I'm sick of moaning about it. I'm sick of coming on and saying the same lyrics off the same hymn sheet, saying what's going on. What is going on? We all know what's going on. Oh, by the way, look what top I have on. Good L jersey. A good L jersey. Do you know they've brought this jersey back out as a fan version? Obviously without the Umbro on it and the Carlin. But it's a nice top. You know, them buttons. What does it remind you of? What does this jersey remind of? Larson's last few goals for Celtic in the league against Dundee United. Does it remind you of Seville? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I was actually going to wear a Wales jersey tonight in the podcast because I'm going to Wales next week. And I have a yellow Wales jersey there that I bought online. So let's see. Now, I've no Welsh blood in me, but I like the jerseys. Just, it's my support for Craig Bellamy. Craig Bellamy is one of my favourite footballers of all time. Loved him. Loved him at Celtic. Loved him at the Pool. Loved him at Wales. Even club he went to, he was Man City. He was absolutely unbelievable at City. I was actually looking at that Manchester derby when Owen scored the 4-3 game, but Bellamy scored literally just on the 90th minute, an absolute belter of a goal. Wales jersey. I'll show you the jersey that I was going to wear tonight. It's so nice. 2020 Wales jersey. Oh, where is it? Oh, definitely not picking up that picture of Aaron Ramsey wearing it. Well, I suppose Ramsey's a hero after missing that penalty in Seville. So let's click into this. Let's see, can I get this bleeding kit? I actually have the two of the tops. Right, let's see. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope he's enjoying the podcast as well, by the way. Get the questions in. Get the question. That's what we need. We're missing a player like Bellamy. I want to give a shout out as well to one of the podcasts that were fantastic tonight. Because the Four-Leaf Clover podcast, the lads. So there's that jersey there, right? I bought the two of them tops because I'm going away to Wales the weekend on the rip. Got them on Vinted. Got the yellow top and I got the home top. They're from 2020. They're nice. Nothing wrong with them. There's Harry Wilson there in the right. He's not a bad player. We'd take him at Celtic in a heartbeat. So, yeah, nice top. Belt of a top. Do you think Martin O'Neill could walk, Keith? No, I don't think he's going to walk. Why would he walk? Like, he's here to enjoy the gig until the end of the season. If he doesn't win the league, he doesn't win the league. He wants to win the league. He wants to, I don't think he'll ever manage again after this. He's 73 years of age and we're very grateful he's at taking the call and come back in. I think how it's going to work is if we win the league, Maloney will stay. He's employed by Celtic anyway. People are saying Roberto Martinez. I wouldn't be against Roberto Martinez. He done all right with Wigan. He won Wigan and FA Cup and stuff. He's won the Nations League with Portugal. He's done well with the Belgium side as well in the past. Isn't he? I think his wife is Scottish as well, and his wife wants to move back to Glasgow. I was hearing. Martinez wouldn't be a bad show for the Celtic job. Like there hasn't been any names linked since, and this is the typical board. Like they bought themselves 5 months, 6 months to get a manager in the door. Do you think they'd be doing talks in the background with managers? Probably not. They're probably looking to get a Tisdale replacement in. That's the type of board we're dealing with, Yeah, Motherwell. Yeah, I forgot he played for Motherwell. Yeah, so Roberto Martinez, I would not be against it because Sean Maloney was obviously He's second man at Belgium and stuff like that. I think it'd be a good appointment. I think it would be a good appointment. I think he knows the Scottish game, as you've said it there. He's played for Motherwell. You know, he knows how important Celtic fans are. It's not a case where he's like a Wilfred Nancy doesn't get it. He will get it. He will get it. He's obviously managed in the Premier League for Everton and Wigan and stuff like that. He knows that, you know, British football is a lot of demand. There's a lot of demand, and especially in Scotland. If there's going to be Hearts now going forward, and if they were to win the league, there will be an extra incentive now, more bigger than ever, to beat Hearts. So let's see. Hold on. 2 seconds, folks. 2 seconds. Is that the sound back on? This microphone goes on a bit of a jumble at times. The board makers way. We're supposed to be singing their praises. Never look at. I can understand that they've gotten the club in a good financial place, but you got to invest. Yes, we have a new training ground. We got Barrowfield is done up now. New indoor facility and stuff like that, but it's about the squad. You know, people don't want to look at Celtic facilities. People on the telly look at Celtic Football Club when they're playing. That's what it's all about, you know. I don't be worrying about a big question. The board, are the board worried? Are you depressed or frustrated? I don't think they're worried. I don't think they're depressed. I don't think they're frustrated. I just think one word: careless. And I mean careless. Mr. Lawwell walked away from it in December because he could not handle that the fans were calling them out time and time again. He walked away from it. And I don't think he was getting any sort of online abuse or verbal abuse thrown at him. It was thrown at as a collective at every single person that is in that board, because they're not living up to the standard. They're stealing the wage. Stealing the wage. You know what? You're better off putting Nanny McPhee in there. She'll do a better job. God honest truth. We need at least 5 players in. Probably get one on loan. Well, we've got the Mexican right back in. Whoop-de-doo. But I don't think we're going to shift players, to be honest with you, Mark. I really don't believe. Is this Mark that watches me on other lives as well? Listen, comrades, if the Hearts are too hot to get out of if the heat's too hot, get out of the kitchen. I thought you meant the Hearts there. The heat, 100%. Pressures for tires. But it feels like some of these players are crumbling. They've been crumbling since fucking August. Just can't live up to the standards. Yeah, good to see you in, Mark. Good to see you in, my friend. What a man. Shout out to Mark. He's a good. Shout out to Boydie Boy. Good lad he is. Good lad. So, put in the comments what type, a name who you'd like to see Celtic sign. I've made it clear I would like to see Celtic sign Kieran Bowie. I don't care about the price tag. Get it done. Get it done. You know, 6.5 million. I think they're expecting 6.5 million, but I think realistically, if you went in for about, say, 5.8 million for Bowie, I think we would get him. That's just Hibs know that Celtic are chasing the title, Rangers are chasing the title, and if it came down to it, they'd probably pick Celtic over Rangers to sell him, because you don't want Hearts winning that league, because you won't hear the end of it in Edinburgh. They'd be, you know, they'll have to go into the caves if Hearts win that league. So you know, let me know what the sounds like as well. Remember the board are going to bring James McCarthy back. Oh, he was stealing the wage. He was, wasn't he? He was. I don't think we're going to get Franco. I honestly don't think we're going to get Franco. I'm going to look up. I'm going to type in Franco here. Kovacevic or Sevkic. Sorry, Franco Kovacevic. I've discussed this guy a couple of times on the channel. This is another an absolute shambles. The guy is banging in goals for fun. Yes, it may be in Slovenia, but look his market value, 490k, right? Look at he's played 28 games for this team in Slovenia, and he's banged in 25 goals. 25 goals. Unreal. 11 goals in the Slovenian league. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, like 5 goals in the Conference League. He started 6 games, right? Where else? Where else was he banging the goals in? So we need to get this together. Like, honestly, there's a player we should be getting, a good forward. And to be honest with you, I looked up a video of his best bits and bobs, as you usually do on YouTube, and he looks like a decent player. Is Kieran Bowie from Kilcady? Kilcady? That's where he's from, isn't he? Ask our board for Franco. He'll end up. He probably, like, you know, it's just typical. Where are Celtic's real decision makers? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say anymore about it. I feel exhausted talking about it. I feel exhausted. I feel like I'm moaning to my granny about it every single week. I feel like I've had a hard day in work. I'm moaning about issues in work. It's not being dealt with, and I continue to go on with it. That's what it feels like when you talk about the Celtic board. Take a screenshot and send it to the Celtic board. You could offer Celtic a player that could be on the free transfer who's absolutely had to have a good career, and they still won't pay attention to it. You know, me too. I'm pissed off with Celtic. So let's put out the starting lineup. Let's just kind of change the whole bar thing. Anyway, lineup builder. We're going to share the screen. I don't get the Welsh situation. You know what the Welsh situation is? They're going to get another centre back in, right? They're going to get a centre back on loan, right? And they're going to sell Welsh. That's what they're going to do to milk money. And they're not going to get much for Welsh, to be honest with you. So I would be starting against Akinlek. I would be starting Sinisalo. Put Cini in there, right? Right back, Kobe Donovan. Donovan right back, right? Welsh. Welsh wasn't even on the bench the other night. Right? Welsh. Murray. Dane Murray. Left back. Who can we play left back? Bartini. We don't really have anyone who can play left back. Bartini and Scales. I don't really want to risk Tierney against a team that's like, how many divisions below us? 9 at this rate? 12? Could be more. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to try to educate myself on the Scottish football pyramid. So just say Tierney in there, right? He's going to start McGregor. You'll always start McGregor. Kenny. Balagwisha. Gonna go for Tineki. Midfield. McKeown. I seen Ben Summers has joined Ayr United on loan as well. And then I would go Bernardo. That would be my team. Now, that would be the team I'd start on Sunday. I prefer if we I don't know how long Sriracha's still out for. That's the team I'd go for. You probably having a few of the B team on the bench as well. Come on, the Celts from Cross McGlynn, South Armagh. Hope you're good. I was only talking about your Logan brother, Neil Lennon, there a few minutes ago. Just saying there was the stupidity of that journalist asking him, does he miss his dad? That's 3 players on loan to Ayr now. Look, Scott Brown is trying to push for promotion. He's trying to develop players, and down the line we might see Scott Brown in the Celtic dugout in some coaching capacity, you know. But that's the team I'd start against Auchinleck, Talbot. It's on Premier Sports, folks. What score was that Rangers game? They're probably still playing, are they? Playing Annan, man. Is that tomorrow? Oh, what? No, wait. The game's on tonight. What score is it? Just curious. Google is brutal, honestly. Fuck mob. No, it's even fucking on this. Like, what is going on? It better be 9-0 on Sunday at half time. And they see this malarkey, we're going to respect the opposition. We're going to respect the opposition. I'm like, don't respect any opposition. Go out and play your football to the best standards you can. Like, I'm sick of this crap. Because if Nancy was in charge, it could have been another Darville. What Darville done to Aberdeen. And Liam Scales remembers that because he was on loan at Darville. Not on loan at Darville, on loan at Aberdeen at the time. 4-0. No, we should be going out there and hammering them, you know. And I won't take away from what the shambles of the board. Like Martin O'Neill was asked in the press conference, will we have a player? Will we have a striker in the next week? He said, we're working tirelessly in the background, perhaps. And he said he dreads doing these press conferences because he's getting asked the same questions. Well, if you're getting asked the same questions, Martin, you need to have a chat with Michael Nicholson and get him to pull his socks up and start actually making proper phone calls, productive phone calls. None of this, I'm just inquiring. I'm just inquiring what time you're up until. Or I'm just inquiring, is there a 30-day warranty? You know, like, that fucking crap, like, you know. Time for Celtic to go out and prove why we are champions of Scotland. Here, hoping that we can get some signings in the door. So, what day does the transfer window close at? What day is it closed on this month? Is it still the 31st? That's a Saturday. I can't see it being closed on a Saturday. Transfer window. Right. Let me see. When does it close? When does it open? When does it close? Sorry, folks. I'm just looking at this here. Is on the Friday? Deadline day. 2nd of February. So we have until the 2nd of February to sign players. Right? 2nd of February. What time is 11 o'clock as usual in Scotland? Let me see. Like, I'm not trying to be premature about this in any shape or form. Yeah, there's 2 weeks left to get players in, all shape or form, but we really need to think about Tynecastle next week. Tynecastle, if we go into that game without a striker, getting fresh blood in, we're going to get pumped. we are going to get pumped because Johnny Kenny isn't the answer. Kelechi's still injured. Maeda's in the hotel lobby waiting for the bus to turn up for the airport. You know, so what? Who else is going to come up with the goals? Who else is going to come up with the goals? Taneki doesn't know how to fucking score a goal. Balakwisha is bleeding dirt. Yang's the only hope we have. That's the God honest truth. You know, it should be the Hearts game. We should be getting players in. Like Bologna next week. Like either if we sign someone this week, you don't get anyone in for the Bologna game because the paperwork's done. You can't field players that are come in until the knockout stage of Europa. You know, it's just a joke. That's it. You'd be relying on Yang or Negrin. It's a desperate state of affairs. It really is a desperate state of affairs that you're saying to yourself, okay, no disrespect to Yang, no disrespect to Benji Negrin, but where are the rest of the players? Where are the rest of them that are going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and want to make a bit of history, want to be remembered, not to be this squad where we failed, we finished third place, or we finished second place. Finished second place. Why didn't we finish second place? Or we weren't backed. Why were we not backed? Or because we have a useless board. And then he got rid of our manager because he dropped his tills. A part of me understands why Brendan Rodgers dropped his tills because he wasn't getting the support. He came out and said it on record after the Bayern Munich game that he wanted to 2 or 3 players away from challenging the Champions League. And we done the opposite. We got rid of them 2 or 3 players. You know? I really, really don't know who is the man to come in and actually get a reaction from this board. The only person I think that can get a reaction from this board out straight, which is, and the stubbornness of him is Ange. You know, Ange knows that you have to do the gritty work to get players in. And when was the last time we had a decent January transfer window where we done our business early under Ange? January 2022, when we got Ideguchi, Itate, Maeda in early. We done a bit of business. I know, Tone, I understand February is a while away, but at the same time, it's Hearts that we're worried about. I don't care about Bologna on Thursday. Yeah, I will come on after they come on and do a podcast and probably moan if we get beaten or we get a draw or if we win, happy days. But what I'm concerned about is such a vital game Sunday week, and we're going out to Italy to play against a decent side. You know, Derek, or what's his name? Is it Lewis Ferguson? Lewis Ferguson will be up for it. He'll be definitely up with him and his Bologna side. Okay, they won the Coppa Italia. They're a good side. And even when this draw was done, I was dreading playing Bologna away. But look, the Europa League, we don't necessarily need the Europa League. We don't need to try progress in it. People say, but it's about money. It's about the coefficient. It's about this. Right now, we have bigger shit to be worrying about than Europa League, you know, especially when we have 750 fans that are only allowed into Tynecastle as well. Lose the Hearts, potentially lose the league, 100%. You know, and to be honest with you, Hearts could probably do the whitewash over us this season, the way we are. And I don't think means Martin O'Neill will have them up for it. And we seen the last time we went to Edinburgh, we scraped the result against Hibs, and Hearts are a much superior side than Hibs this season. More organised. Look at that guy, Cammy Devlin. He's playing superb. He's playing absolutely out of his skin for Hearts. And then Craig Gordon pulling off an absolute cracker of a save against Dundee. Probably one of the best saves I've ever seen. Craig Gordon was a good saving for Celtic. You know, free transfer. I enjoyed. I liked Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon at Celtic. The only thing I didn't like about Craig Gordon was his distribution of the football. Yeah, he had a couple of howlers. We seen against Inter Milan. He pulled off um, really bad howlers. I think it was Shaqiri. He flopped the ball against Shaqiri, but I remember he pulled off a phenomenal save at the end of that game. Gordon was a good player for Celtic, good keeper for Celtic, but Fraser was a different level. You know, Borage was a different level. You know, what else? Bonesy boy, hope you're doing well. Sefco and Hearts are doing their business early and efficiently. Pains me to say, but of course we look amateurs. We do. We always look like an amateur team, an amateur set of operations. You know. Hi Keith, keep up the good work. We must be Hearts no matter what. We need to win both of them games against Rangers and Hearts, and we've got to hope for a few results of them falling apart. But it feels weird. You know what? It feels weird, Peter. It feels weird being in this situation where we're chasing. And for the change, it wakes up a lot of fans, but at the same time, you get a lot of fans that are frustrated, they're annoyed. They're annoyed more at the board than the team. You know, and yeah, the team are to blame for dropping points and getting beaten. You know, every player makes mistakes. But I will say one thing, and I'll give him the credit which is due because I know I've been criticizing him a lot recently. I still believe he isn't at the standard for most games. Kasper Schmeichel, what a save the other night on the 80th minute. Fantastic save, by the way. That was a big save. You know, and that was like the young Kasper Schmeichel. That was. With Martin O'Neill on the Desmond payroll, I'm worried. I think anyone that's on the Desmond payroll will be worried because they're getting spoon-fed propaganda. They're getting spoon-fed, oh, say this, say that. We're working hard. Tell everyone we're working hard. Keep the fans off our backs. We're working hard. We're using that Nokia 3210. We're playing Snake. We're working hard. You know, 2310. You know? The love. How's it going, Stephen? Hope you're doing well. Good picture of the doggy. We ain't signing no one anytime soon. Dave, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in. Long time no speak. I'm not picking up for the board for a change. I've always been very patient with them over the transfer and it's like, oh, calm down. It's the same shit every year, folks. We will sign players, but it will be bargain basement players. Lastminute.com. I think David Lowe is trying to get people together to buy 29% of the shares. You know, I'll give a shout out to David Lowe. He's been around a long time. Very passionate Celtic fan. He does a lot. I've watched a couple of podcasts he's done with Axon and other podcasts. He's really good. An unsung hero, you know. A part of the works of saving Celtic Football Club in the mid-90s he was. You know, getting Fergus McCann in. You know, I love watching that. I love watching that whole like documentary about Fergus McCann coming in and saving Celtic the last hour, paying the debts off to the bank and all, and you know, putting a vision out there. And I love the story when he's saying that he had he paid, I think it was like ridiculous amount of money to stream a European final of Celtic or something like that in Canada back in the day. Like, I love the passion Fergus McCann had, you know. And people say, oh, Martin O'Neill needs a statue if he wins this league. Fergus McCann needs a statue. Fergus McCann saved Celtic. You know, like, people forget about that. You know, save Celtic. What a guy. What an absolute hero. Bernardo needs a run out because he's a good player. He hasn't had the chance all season, you know. I feel sorry for Paulo Bernardo because, you know, he goes away with the national side, the under-21 national side, and he bosses it. He's the captain of Portugal. He does really well, but he needs more time. And I was saying earlier on to someone I work with, we're talking about McCown. Is it McCown thinking that when he was coming in that he was going to be the McGregor replacement, being a Celtic fan, had captain experience? Yeah, it was only for Dundee. I think McCown just looks like he's all over the shop. He just looks lost, I don't think some games he just looks like it's too much for him wearing that Celtic shorts. And we all want Lukey to do well, My biggest concern of all is even if we get players in and we're more concentrating what happens when Martin O'Neill moves on. I'm not even thinking about when Martin O'Neill moves on. I know there's nothing wrong with thinking how into the future, Bonesy. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But we got to think about now and to the rest of the season. I think the board do need to be doing the background gritty work after this transfer window and focus on getting a manager in getting a pre-contract done. Like the old days when Martin said he was leaving, we start doing recruitment work. When Gordon said he was leaving, we start doing work like that. When Ronnie Doyle was leaving, we start doing work on that. Like that type of stuff. You need to plan for the future, Who's your striker against Auchinleck Talbot? Put Kenny in there. Who else are you going to play? Play Yang up front. At this rate, Negrin up front. I would have said Ben Summers, but Ben Summers has gone to Air United. Desmond has employed Martin O'Neill as a salesman. The only reason they employed Martin O'Neill because the fans wanted Martin O'Neill because they knew if anyone else came into that job, there would have been, as Sophie says, murder on the dance floor. There would have been definitely murder on the dance floor. But yeah, it's just an absolute joke. What's my team for Sunday? I'll show you my team for Sunday now. I'm going to be jumping out now in 5. Team for Sunday. 2 seconds. I'll show you now. So that's my team for Sunday, David. Sinisalo, Donovan, Tierney, Murray, Welch, McGregor, Bernardo, McCown, Balakwisha, because he needs to play. He needs to prove a point because he's been absolute dirt so far. Taneki and Kenny. That's who I'd start on Sunday. That's my team there, bud. If this is your first time coming across the channel as well, please subscribe. Yeah, they ain't no mugs. It is a cup final for them. Transfer window 2nd of February closes. Loads of business has to be done, Yeah, Martin O'Neill is faithful through and through, but you need to give the man the tools to work with. He needs the tools to operate, Yeah, Corney, he's wanting out. I would send him back to Belgium on loan. Send him back on Belgium on loan. Harrison, I completely agree with you. I agree that they will be up for it. Definitely they'll be up for it. You could play Casper up front against Talbot. Nah. We'll get there. So, folks, I'm going to jump off the podcast. Really good chatting to you. If I can get on tomorrow night, I will. I'll see if I can get on tomorrow night for about 45 minutes. But for the time being, regards to this guy from Leeds United, I can't see it happening because the 49ers obviously have shares in Rangers. They have shares in Leeds. I can't see it happening with this guy. And we missed a chance with Callum Wilson. So we'll let the board keep exploring, keep making these inquiries, and let's see what happens. But it's a load of shy. It is a load of shy, to be honest with you. But I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please do subscribe. And if I can get on tomorrow night, I will. I'll put a message in 2 hours in advance. So I'll speak to you all soon. Hail, hail.